All right, here we go.
4, 3, 2, 1.
Time for Gold Spires. All right, I think a lot of people pull both these groups, so I'm gonna go ahead and do that.
Interrupt.
Trying really hard not to get that, but
Interrupt. Interrupt.
trying to keep up Bone Shield. I also pop both charges of Blood Tap. Just try and be able to get in some extra Heart Strikes when I was low on runes. Alright, not entirely sure that saved us time, but Bloodlust people only doing 15k overall. Not that bad, or not that great. With the Woe Relic.
Interrupt.
Get ready to pop Abomination Limb again, just so I have more damage.
It's too far away.
Heart striking a lot here because I have full charges. Bone Shield. And this guy said he's reloading and he's still down there. He hasn't come back yet. Oh, there we go. Looks like he's moving now. Maybe? I hope.
I need to get closer.
Not really taking a whole lot of damage here, so I'm just gonna lay down the D&D, get out of the Force Slam, which is really hard to see on these stairs. I have a lot of health right now and don't seem to be taking too much damage. Keep Bone Shield up, as always. Take that, pop A-Bomb Limb. You want to make sure that you hit your cooldowns every time they come up. Here I'm starting to take damage, so I'm glad that I have full runic power. But even with that, now I'm right back at full. So when you're at full runic power and you have runes available to cast, Heart Strike should absolutely just dump the runic power into a Death Strike to make it so that you don't overcap, which means to go above 100. You don't want to use anything that would make you go above 125 runic power or 100 runic power, depending on the talents you're running. So right here, I want to make sure Bone Shield's up. Shaman's at full mana.
It's too far away. I can't use that item.
Defensive.
Pop Dancing Rune Weapon there.
Defensive.
Gonna dodge the slam here.
Defensive.
Gonna pop my Ghoul here because I actually haven't remembered to use it yet this run.
I'm out of range.
Once she comes back down and comes over here, I want to pop A-Bomb Limb for damage.
Defensive.
Can't see shit because of these trees.
Defensive.
Got off a big Death Strike there after the overhead slash.
Defensive.
I think that's Death Knight's weakest point for sure, is that I'm sitting here doing 2.9k overall damage on a boss where any other tank class would probably be doing close to twice this much.
Defensive. Defensive.
Got it. You trying to cast Heart Strike here to have as much rune power as I can before she casts Overhead Slash, which does so much damage. Got it. I'm gonna wait for them to risk this guy. Alright.
It's too far away. It's still recharging.
Keep out Treants, so I'm gonna build up runic power really quick while the Treants are up. And then pop Dancing Rune Weapon. And make sure that the knockout doesn't make me end up behind them.
I need to get closer. I'm out of range.
Try and keep my health up here. Keep Heart Striking for... Oh, got a nice proc there. For free Death and Decay. That was actually nice. I've never done that before. Like combine those two pulls together, and it's actually pretty efficient. As long as everybody sees that line of sight. Alright, I'm gonna pop Icebound so that I don't get stunned. Gonna take a lot of bleed damage here. Gonna try and pop Rune Weapon.
It's too far away.
I have a Hellstone still, which I can use now. And now I'll kite since I have so many stacks of the bleed. Probably combine them with this stupid thing as well. The thing is, I really want to be running keys as Frost, but I cannot run keys as Frost because I can't seem to get invited to a key as Frost, so I have to wait until I get invited to a group with my guildies or something. Because they'll take me, and actually I do really good damage. I need a different legendary, but I need the Remorseless Winter legendary right now. I have the Frozen Champion Lego. And trying to save my death in case I get extra. Oh. Got hit by the tank buster because I got knocked up in the air by the whirlwind because I'm not paying attention. Gonna stay in melee here to try and generate as much rune power as I can. I'm gonna drag these over to the Dark Praetor. And keep Bone Shield up at 9 stacks there. And head back over to the Dark Praetor just because the Stealth Claw will follow. I don't have any stacks of the bleed. Got 25 seconds on Bone Shield, so I don't need to refresh it before the next pull. And I am gonna kick whichever one of these does its ability second. Or I lied. Since no one was in melee yet, I did it on the group that did it first. Or the one that did it first. But typically when you're pugging this, as a tank, it's good to assume that your group is going to always kick the first thing. Gonna pop my ghoul again. Here, nope, someone got the kickoff, so I was a little late. Max stacks of Bone Shield. When you have any more than 7 stacks of Bone Shield, you should never be casting anything except Heart Strike to generate runic power. You shouldn't be spending your runes on anything except Heart Strike. Here I'm going to pop AMS because these other drivers do a nasty poison that AMS actually makes it so I don't get stacks of. But here when I have full runic power and a defensive, I'm very strong, and people tend to heal the hell out of me anyway, just because as a Death Knight you can sustain yourself pretty well. But here I have 16 seconds on a Bone Shield, so I'm going to refresh it even though I had 8 stacks. That way, going into this next pull, I have 30 seconds of Bone Shield to hopefully not have it drop. You want to have close as much runic power as you can manage to have, and then also have max stacks of Bone Shield, or at least max duration Bone Shield when you head into a new pack. That way when you first pull, you won't be as vulnerable. DKs are extremely vulnerable at the beginning of pulls. So here you see I'm taking a lot of damage. Speaking of which, I let Bone Shield drop, so that's why. See, I got overconfident, I came across the way. Thinking that I had enough, but apparently it takes like 10 or 15 seconds to get across that chasm there, so gotta dodge the and redrop D&D since I'm low on runic power. I want to be able to Heart Strike a lot. Then refresh Bone Shield again as always. But you can see that my damage is much lower than I wish it was, and it's much lower than it would be on any other tank, so I'm gonna wait here. So there's a pat at the top of the stairs here that I need to make sure I pull these super far away from.
Interrupt. Interrupt.
Alright, I popped Slappy Hands to try and get more damage, and also it really helps with control. Spires of Ascension, there's a lot of mobs that jump around, and so I prefer running Necrolord to Venthyr for this dungeon. Just because it gives you so much more control. Especially when you're in pugs and you can't really... Gonna refresh my Bone Shield here because it has 7 seconds left. Alright, so you can see I had 60 runic power and full 22 seconds of Bone Shield. Because as I said, Death Knights are weakest at the start of a pull when they potentially have no runic power and no stacks of Bone Shield. So I'm going to AMS here again to try and keep myself from getting the Insidious Venom. Get away from this Pat here. Got 15 seconds on Bone Shield still. Because you have to watch charges, so I had 4. But you also need to watch duration. So you may have a perfectly acceptable number of charges, which is unlikely. If you keep 7 or more, usually you've been refreshing. But if you have 4, you might not have need to refresh yet because you chose to use other spells, but chances are your duration's getting really low. And so then mid-pull, you could accidentally run out of Bone Shield charges, even though you have charges left and you're looking at it and paying attention. When you're looking at it and paying attention, you might be like, wait, but like I'm refreshing it. I don't have 0 charges. It didn't run out. It's because it has the buff itself has a duration on it. So I'm gonna Slappy Hands again just because it's up and I could use the damage. Also gonna Rune Weapon because it gives me extra damage because it duplicates my spells. So D&D, since I have full runic power and health, then I'm just interested in generating as much runic power as possible and doing a little more damage. I'm not quite sure we'll have enough DPS to time the key though, as it stands right now. So this pull is exceptionally hard, so the fact that I don't have Rune Weapon up and I have 5 seconds on Bone Shield is a big deal. So I'm going to come up here, immediately do Marrow Rend to try and generate threat and get that, generate runic power I mean. I'm going to group these guys up to get the most damage I can. And in my own Death and Decay, they're all going to come unstunned at once, so you're going to have a bunch of damage. Yep, see, 75% of my health even with Vampiric Blood up. So you got to watch that when you're fighting groups that get AoE stun. They'll all get unstunned at the same time, which means then you'll get hit by every ability all at once, and it really fucking sucks. While they're being tanked over there, I'm going to do everything I can to keep my runic power up, because again, when they all come out, I'm going to get hit with everybody all at the same time. I'm going to blood tap there to give myself extra runes, because I was running out. So that's tricky also. When these mobs jump away from you, you could suddenly not have a way to generate runic power.
Interrupt.
Which should leave you very screwed. Alright, so I'm going to wait for mana here a little bit, so he's about half. Actually, maybe not.
This is where you meet your end.
It's too far away.
Alright, gonna pop Trinket because I did Bloodlust. Or pop Ghoul. And Slappy Hands.
My alacrity. Witness radiance.
And pull it slightly away.
I need to get closer. I'm out of range.
Alright,
Cannot match my
alright, I'm gonna go all the way across here because it gives people a chance to stand away from it. So you can see there's two black things over there.
Radiance.
Watch
From
your
the
step.
shadows, I witness your demise.
So you see here across the room from both, it makes it much easier to dodge as I get hit by one. Still have to pay attention.
You cannot match my alacrity. Witness
Shockwave.
radiance.
So I try to keep the first one nearby. So just watch the black stuff coming out. Now you go all the way across.
None.
I'm out of range.
People lose uptime, but again, much easier to not die when you're pulling stuff this far away.
Watch your step.
So he's going to recharge. So once again, it's not entirely, I'm not sure that I'm going to be in a safe spot, but you have so much time to see where they're coming from. So there's the one on the left, so I dodged it. There's one coming through the center.
Cannot match my alacrity. Witness
Shockwave.
radiance.
It's too far away.
It worked out really well. And that's how you keep your group safe. A lot of people die on that fight. So he does two of those things, and then he'll do the recharge. So when he's not in his recharge, you want to put two of them right next to each other. And then you move him all the way across the room for the third one. And then you're all set. And it saves your group from taking too much damage. Because otherwise, like if you drop them, like try to move it a quarter of the way around the room, which I see a lot of tanks do, where you do like one at 9 o'clock, one at 6 o'clock, kind of thing, then they end up overlapping and you get all these crazy things through the middle. Told my group that we're going to cloak the top of the stairs. Alright, gotta dodge the Hellion and the Force Slam. The Hellion's going to do some frontal doohickey, or at least they usually do. Probably should have killed the Woe Relic first, or the Vi Relic. I think the Vi Relic is... No, the Vi one makes the guy with the gun. Pop cooldown here to kill these guys. Make sure they don't leap away.
It's too far away.
And have them all come back here. The shaman doesn't get it. Interesting choice of Link, I guess. Pearl's hurt here on Trash Week. Am I Marileth? Ah, fucking hell. Normally I run a many, but I am accidentally Marileth.
Those defiance must be punished.
Alright, gonna have to group everybody up on me. They did not group up on me, so I'm gonna have to then take it all this way.
New boss.
Gonna pop Rune Weapon just because I have the cooldown and I don't want to get hit with a Dismantle. Trying to tell them to stack on me for the blast, but they did not.
New boss.
The next thing he does, he's gonna spawn little orbs out of the ground. Here we go. So I'm gonna pop Anti-Magic Shell. Let the rogue get a few stacks. And pop the ghoul. God, that guy's lagging so much.
New boss.
Getting back towards the center. Alright, gonna have them stack up, but they're not going to, so then I'll shift to the left. It doesn't really matter.
New boss.
And battle res the healer. That's why not. But on boss fights, until you get a much higher keys, as a Death Knight, you'll be very strong.
New boss. New boss.
That was not great positioning, but I thought he was gonna die, so I didn't move him out of that stuff in time. Also, the timing changes, where he basically spawns it as soon as he hits a certain thing. I'm gonna check something on my phone really quick. Alright.
It's too far away.
Alright. And if you didn't know, you see how the spear is angled that way? The shit comes out of the spear at 90 degrees and straight on. So you see right here, this is the safe spot. Same thing here. The angle's there, so I can stand here. Gonna get a little messy here. I'm gonna try and see if I can find a safe spot right in the middle. Yeah, basically did.
I need a target. I'm out of range.
That's straight on, so this should be safe. Not sure if this is gonna be safe or not. Nope, definitely not.
It's too far away.
DPS is taking a long time to kill this thing.
I'm out of range.
Alrighty, last one. Oh, nope, don't have the healer. The healer died, so gotta wait. Alright. Shaman's here. There's the spear. There's the spear. I think this is the safe spot. This guy's a pain in the ass. Not doing a great job tanking right now. I think this is a little bit safer. Yeah, this is definitely safer. Trash week, this guy's basically a boss. I'm the only one who didn't die? Holy shit. So it would have been better to bloodlust that guy at the start. Even though the person asked me and I said no. I did not think damage would be so low. Alright.
The age of the Forsworn is at hand. Fear shall pierce your heart.
I'm out of range.
Find shelter.
I will strike you down.
Find shelter.
I got the shield right here, so I get inside.
Fear shall pierce your heart.
Popped blood towel because I was out of runes. Everything's recharging. I don't really need resources at the moment.
Phase change.
Obey my command.
It's too far away.
Perish among the clouds.
Alright, got.
Mortals, take up my spear.
She had just moved, so I threw it immediately.
Phase change.
If you point your camera at her right before you get inside the spear thing, you can see whether you have to wait for her to move or whether you can just throw it. But you don't want to miss, because then you have to do it all over again.
Your heart.
I'm out of range.
It's just so little damage.
Find shelter.
Pop slappy hands for as much damage as I can muster. It's a lot better to keep yourself between her and the wall if you're a ranged DPS or a melee DPS.
Prime shelter.
Because if she charges towards the outside, you lose a lot of DPS uptime. You can see that her charge was a lot shorter there.
Spread. Find shelter.
Try to get away from her so that I didn't drop the shit on the ground near the spear. When you get the debuff, it leaves this black puddle behind. I'll make sure that I don't spawn any more puddles than I have to. Alright, gonna pop Death's Advance. Death's Advance makes it so you're not affected by. Okay, gonna have to wait now for her to move. There we go. Dunsky.
Phase change.
And be very close to timing it. I think we're going to, but it's going to be cutting it close. Get her closer to the shield.
Spread.
There we go.